Можешь закрыть балкон?
Угу.
Okay. So should we? Everyone goes well. Okay. Let me know when we're starting.
We already started. Okay. So let me do it anyway. 大家好，我是XA Ventures 的创始人林维浩，然后今天很开心，作为这一个律动 Next 的第7期的一个主持人，然后简单介绍一下，我们这一期的主题是万链互联的金融枢纽，然后邀请到来分享，还有做这个 AMA 的一个项目叫做 Kira Network。接下来呢，这个也简单介绍一下这2位这个大家看得到的，一个 Mila， 还有一个 Matthew， 就是这个Kira Network 的 CEO Co-founder， 还有这个Founder 是 CTO。然后这边介绍一下律动 Next， 必须说一下2020这个 Next 系列是由区块律动联合酷币共同推出，然后希望通过这场系列活动可以让行业目光更多的聚焦于创新。2020 Next 活动将持续1年，每月列出15个项目，请大众进行助力。每期热度最高的1到2个项目团队呢，将会成为当月的对话嘉宾。那么这一期当然就是 Kira Network。今天律动 Next 已经达到第7期了，就如往期一样，2轮弹幕抽奖，必不可少。今天我们将照例抽出10位中奖的用户，然后共计送出600枚 CAX， 然后大家就不要错过这个抽奖的机会了。那 CAX 就是 Kira Network 的一个 token 了。然后呢，本期节目经历了一个比较激烈的一个角逐之后链间交换协议 Kira Network 成为了本期热度之王。律动也邀请了 Kira Network 的 Co-founder 兼 CEO Mila 以及 Kira Core 的 CTO。跟 Kira Network Founder Matthew 来这个课间直播，来聊一聊他们自己还有他们的项目。So welcome Mila and Matt。在这里给大家介绍一下 Kira Network 是一个去中心化网络，允许用户100%的运营自己的一个资金，并希望提供可以让任何数字资产、数字代币进入市场的一个服务。其目标是链接数字以及现实世界的经济，不仅利用资产的价值作为提供point to point 这个 P2P 金融产品的手段，更重要的是利用了实物资产的价值来保护去中心化网络的安全性还有稳定性。那 Kira Network 是由 Kira Core 团队设计的去中心化网络，不过其网络治理权归网络验证者所有，将实现完全的去中心化治理。 Kira Network 原创多种功能来保护其市场的一个竞争力，其中包含了一个 MBPOS 的一个共识机制，多重权益证明机制，the Interchain Exchange Protocol 链间交换协议，IVO 众筹模式等等的。好，那我们就这个不拖延太多，很高兴今天大家可以来参与这个，看我们这个聊一聊比较 hardcore 的一些技术。那么我们现在就开始提问了。Okay, so now all the questions starts from now.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll be quicker into the main topic. So first round of questions. Could you please introduce yourself and the Kira Network to the Blockbeats audience and fans? What's your vision and mission? So let's start with Mila.
Hi, I'm Milana Valmont and the founder and the CEO of Kira Network. I have a background in corporate finance. I studied finance and economics in New York, and I started my crypto journey in early 2017, first as an investor. Then I got really involved with the community and started working full-time for an ad tech project as a project manager. And the same year, I joined Binance as a community volunteer. And since 2018, I moved to Tel Aviv, and I've been working for a trading platform there. And since last year, I dedicated my full attention to Kira as a CEO.
Okay, cool.
So, I guess maybe I can put myself in. So hello everyone, my name is Mateusz, I'm an electronic engineer. I was in crypto since late 2011, mostly started with Bitcoin mining. In 2013 there was Dogecoin mining, many other things related to that. I was very fascinated with algorithmic trading. I got very attracted to few APIs that were available, such as Kraken, and I was starting experimenting with that. And then I think between 2016-17, the interchain space started to develop, so I jumped onto that. And I was there ever since. In the meantime, I worked in the Barclays as R&D developer, then as lead infra engineer in the US-based Settled Finance, which was also quite very related to Ethereum ecosystem. I was doing everything there, started from infrastructure, running full nodes, security, authentication systems. And then I started working for a cryptocurrency exchange in Switzerland called BT.com. And then around the DevCon 4, we met with Milana and we started working on the Kira project.
Yeah, so basically, let me give you the brief introduction on what Kira Network is and what's our vision and mission. So Kira Network powers decentralized financial applications with the liquidity of assets at stake, meaning that we created an economy that attracts real-world and digital crypto assets to be deposited and staked into our network to secure it and enable liquidity through staking derivatives. So we enable all these stake assets to be used with many different decentralized financial applications at the same time. So that way users can utilize 100% of their liquidity without any restraints. I don't know if you want to translate that and then I go into vision and mission, or should I do the whole thing?
I know, I'm also thinking whether I should need to might need to translate, but I guess fine. So but that's a lot of information and very diverse and rich background that you guys have. You guys both work with exchanges, one with Binance Angel and the other one with the .com. So that kind of empowers you with a lot of experience.
I cannot hear you. You have to speak louder. It's like you're too far from the mic. It's really far.
Is it far? Let me pull my screen a little closer.
All right.
Okay, cool. How's that? Is it better?
Like a bit, yeah. I don't know why is it so like the volume is really low.
I will speak a lot louder. Okay. So yeah, okay. So we'll just be very easy going into all the other questions. So what's your vision and mission apart from, you mentioned liquid staking, right? And how does that builds up, your mission and goal of connecting the real world with the cryptocurrency world? How does Kira serve as a hub in that kind of condition and situation?
Yeah, so basically it's, we take a different approach to consensus. So we're not utilizing just artificial tokens to secure a network, but, we're also utilizing real world assets to secure a network. And we're not using plutocratic governance principles to secure a network, because that makes this issue much more vulnerable. So we've created our own consensus, which we call multi-bonded proof of stake, to secure a network with many different assets, and not having any limitations to how much capital can be vouched for the honest operations for the network actors, which are the validators, right? So regarding the governance principles, Kira totally detached from the concept of voting power being proportional to the wealth factor, meaning it's no longer possible to exploit the network by stealing tokens or hoarding tokens, otherwise using tokens that don't belong to someone. For example, centralized exchanges voting on governance proposals, for projects, for Steam, for example, right? So we solve fault tolerance issues by creating our own network, first of all, our own blockchain, so that we're independent from any other projects and from any other networks. So that's another part of it. Basically, their faults are not gonna impact Kira's operations. And lastly, what's our vision and mission is that, yeah, like Kira uses real-world assets to secure its network, and people who stake these assets, they benefit from this engine, from the transaction fees, which come from block and fee rewards from staking, and they have access to decentralized financial applications within the entire crypto ecosystem that they can also use at the same time. So it basically benefits, both user financially, and secures their assets, and also benefits us, our network as well. So it's a symbiotic relationship.
Okay, so it sounds like it's a closed circuit with the values being secured to circulate within the network or the ecosystem of your network. But then how does this work? Like, how do you bridge real world assets through all the innovation in, say, MDPOS, the consensus model that you guys have created, and how does real world assets are going to act or play a role in the staking of the network?
I couldn't hear you. What did you ask?
Okay.
Sorry,
forget about that question just yet, because we're on the time limits. So I'm gonna go to the next question. So
okay.
I heard the question. I can pick it up if you guys want to.
Sure, very quickly.
Shortly elaborate, right? So Kira is using IBC protocol and XCMP protocol to enable cross-chain communication with other networks, right? So when you have real-world assets, right, they have to be translated into digital assets, right? And this is being done usually through digital asset issuers, and whether those are fiat issuers, whether this is some digital real estate, right, that you sign a real world contract with company that you give ownership. You want to translate the ownership of an asset into, let's say, an item that's stored on chain, right? And whoever owns this item and let's say as an accredited investor can own the asset, right? Then in such case, you can then use this asset in the virtual space. So those assets then can be transferred through the cross-chain protocols such as Cosmos IBC and Polkadot XMP. And this way, they can access Kira network through those protocols, and then can be used within the Kira network. So this is how we are bridging the real world assets to digital economy, but we are using them actually for a wide range of purposes, which is decentralized finance.
Yeah, we can talk about it later in greater detail.
Perfect. Okay, let's go to the second question. So how did you get involved in blockchain and cryptocurrency? And how did you come up with the project idea? You want to go first, Matt?
Yeah, okay, you go first.
A little lag. Yeah, Matt, go ahead.
You guys want me to start? I think I already gave a bit of background in that respect. As I mentioned, I started with mining. I was very interested in the in blockchain space since like very early beginnings of it. Of course, I didn't have that good gear to actually mine a lot of Bitcoin. It was just all CPU mining at the beginning. Then I got interested in algorithmic trading. I was pursuing that passion. I was very kind of obsessed with that part. I was creating my own market makers and software related to algorithmic trading. So all that kept me going until the Web3 came along, and then that became a focus. And from there, I think we already mentioned everything.
Yeah, so basically, like for me, like I said, I started first as an investor in early 2017, and I got really involved with the community, and then just left the corporate job and started working full-time in blockchain. And like Matt and I actually have been part of this like syndicate group since 2017. So we've known each other for a while and online, and then we've met in person during the DEF CON conference in Prague, and basically, that's how we started to share the ideas regarding Kira. So basically, we shared the vision that there's not going to be like a single master chain network that scales infinitely and provides all the features that you can imagine. It was more logical to think that we're going to have thousands of projects interconnecting together in the future. Just like in real world, we see thousands of smaller companies on the internet offering their services rather than one single website like Amazon offering their services, which is not extremely secure because you're relying on this one source, and if something bad happens, then your company gets affected by that. So we believe in the Web3 future and the Web3 paradigm that projects are going to be controlled by like individuals rather than one company. So we wanted also people to utilize 100% of their capital with minimum possible risks, without fear of liquidation, without fear of market volatility. And we didn't want people to sit on their assets. And we wanted to connect Kira with real world economies, not just solely crypto project. Like Kira should be part of the real world and be secured by real world assets rather than just artificial tokens. So we're using the assets that exist in the real world in the context of decentralized applications in crypto space. And we wanted people to find ways to bring Kira capital outside of the crypto ecosystem. Basically, we came up with the idea of enabling staking of cryptocurrencies to induce money flow and utilize real-world assets like various NFTs to vouch for security of network operators. So Kira is designed for hosting and deploying decentralized financial applications, and in this case of dealing with financial applications, there's nothing more important than security, which a lot of projects lack right now. And this is why we came up with an idea to secure a network with multiple assets at stake, which no longer originate only from the crypto ecosystem as as well as, we integrate the cross-chain concept into our ecosystem to guarantee full tolerance. And, our goal was also always to create a self-sustainable network governed by the community rather than a, small circle of wealthy crypto individuals, basically.
Got it. Okay. Next question. So we know that Kira is supported by Cosmos SDK. Why did you choose Cosmos SDK rather than the substrate of Polkadot?
The Cosmos SDK is very flexible in terms of if you want to change something that's related to the consensus. And because Kira is using its own consensus, it was natural for us to prefer Cosmos SDK over Substrate. And of course, the Cosmos SDK also supports the WebAssembly, and it's called Cosmos, and so it's simply way more kind of easy for us to start with Cosmos SDK than spend more time and spend more time of doing the same with Substrate. Substrate is really good to kind of build kind of parachains for Polkadot and have small parallel applications running in this kind of Web3 environment, but actually to create your own consensus and to create your own individual blockchain application, which runs independently from others, entirely independently, without need for sharing security, borrowing it and paying for that from other network. I think the Cosmos SDK is a way better solution right now. So that's the reason we went with it.
Got it. So, but then another quick question. So, if we were to see, Polkadot, the ecosystem, being larger and better, right? Would you how would you guys deploy any assets or application, or would be there any migration onto the Polkadot ecosystem?
So this all is going to be connected, right? Let's the broad overview. What's going to happen in the Web3 is not that much different what's happening on Ethereum right now, right? Like right now you have many different DeFi applications, but those DeFi applications are stuck, right? It means they stack one on top of each other, right? One application, let's say, does lending, another does exchange, another does some other features, right? And people like using one and move their assets to another and so on, right? So there is a project called Yearn Finance, which kind of encapsulates this, right? Which uses many different applications on Ethereum, connects them together and offers kind of like the service that, just asset manages for you, certain, right? So a Kira network, Polkadot, and all other applications are also part of the stack. But that stack doesn't live on a single network, right? It lives on many different parallel chains, right? That's why this ecosystem is way powerful and can go way farther than Ethereum can ever go, right? Because you suddenly have not only fault tolerance from one blockchain failing or one application failing, you also have the ability to kind of scale it, right? You don't get clogged with, running everything on a single chain, right? So as Polkadot develops, right, Kira network incorporates many applications. One of them, the first one, is going to cross-chain message, is going to be interchain exchange protocol, which will allow people to trustlessly trade any assets, any derivative assets, and do it in trusted permission manner. So this also will become a part of the stack of Web3 ecosystem, right? So every application deployed on Web3 will also have access to all DeFi applications deployed on Kira. So this is going to be a natural part of different products and applications that other people will be developing, whether that's Cosmos, whether that's Polkadot, whether this is something else that will develop out there, right? We are going to be part of that stack as other applications we will probably also incorporate. So you have to just observe, right? Like what's available in that ecosystem and what we can do to kind of access this capital and attract it to Kira.
Right. Okay, that's why it's called a hub, right? Because that also solves the chicken and egg reason problem, right? And at first people might think, okay, what's the reason to stake on Kira network? I'm not going to just stake there because it's going to get it more secure, right? We need the flow of value, right? The circulation of the liquidity and the values of the assets, whether crypto or non-crypto. And with what you just said, that proves that how Kira is going to serve as a hub, connecting all the dots, and then that gives a lot of reasons for people to stake their assets on Kira, whilst maintaining the liquidity, and not losing the opportunity to participate in foreign networks. So perfect. Let's go to the next question. So number 5 is, as Kira's consensus algorithm, will MBPOS support all valued assets in the future? After covering all crypto assets, what types of assets will be the next?
So after all the crypto assets, then the real world assets are going to be next. So Kira plans to use tokenized real estate, for example, to secure the network. So imagine, you own the building in Shanghai. You go to a digital issuance company, then the company signs an agreement with you that moves an ownership of an asset into the form of a token, where any accredited investor who holds such assets will be automatically the owner of the underlying building that you have. So building can be represented as a fungible asset, which means an asset can be divided between many people, or it can be non-fungible assets, which cannot be divided. So NFTs on Kira can also be refungible, which means an owner can split them into shares so that people can trade these little shares of the building. They can lend them, they can use them for like various reasons like gaming and so on. The owner of the refungible assets can have the ability to buy back the assets at the net asset value price. And there's also going to be the case of fungible assets being a collection of other fungible assets, meaning that NFTs representing your building might consist of NFTs representing flats, and those flats can be represented by NFTs representing rooms and so on. So basically, whoever owns that tokenized asset would hold full ownership to the full extent of the local law, whatever it is, as long as the person holding these assets is an accredited investor. So basically, regarding the NFT staking of the tokenized real estate, your building is now represented by the token, and you can deposit that token through IBC protocol, of Cosmos, or XCMP protocol of Polkadot, for example. Then you request the Kira governance to whitelist this token for staking, and then governance values this asset, like, what would it be worth for the network to have this asset? Is it going to secure the network? Is it going to bring potential increase of network activity due to the users being very interested in trading or using the stake token in its liquid form through staking derivatives and so on? So that way, you can go from having a building, going into the token issuance company, and then having a token representing that building that you can use in so many different ways. So that's going to be our plan for staking after the cryptocurrency staking is set up.
Got it. Okay. So very quick question, because we're so close to the first price drawing. So basically I'm hearing, so apart from real estate, can you just mention maybe a few other assets that you have in mind that right after crypto you are going to bring them, integrate them, migrate them onto cryptocurrency or Web 3.0?
Yeah, so basically, like I've mentioned, real estate is just part of it, just to give an overall bigger picture, but there's also going to be gaming items, art items, luxury items. So basically things like that you can actually calculate the value of an asset that is unique, and something that will be valuable to secure the network, and something that obviously people are interested in trading, owning, and staking.
Correct.
So as long as it's
Got it. What? Got it. Exactly, unleashing the liquidity and tradability right? Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm go to the text drawing. So OK，那么那个我们现在首轮的提问环节到此告一段落，刚好6点半。那么进入了第一轮的一个弹幕抽奖，跟大家简单的讲述一下抽奖规则。这一轮我们会抽出5个幸运的观众，每人将获得60枚 text。参与抽奖的用户通过微信登录，并发送弹幕 text to the moon， text to the moon。这个我需要拼出来吗？应该不用吧，大家都会啊。再强调一遍哈，必须是这个微信登录用户，而且每一个人都能只有一次获奖的机会。重复中奖或者是未登录的中奖用户将视为作废或者是重新抽取。OK， 好，这个大家准备好了吗？那我那个从现在开始发送啊。我就不倒数了，大家可以开始发。然后我每10秒钟将抽取1位幸运的观众，总共会有5位。好，那就3、2、1开始。对，不要刷屏。
What?
Like the messages just keep flooding. Like I'm trying to screenshot. OK， 我这边截了第一个了啊。然后呢，这个截第二个啊。然后我再截。现在在群里面，我看到很多人在说 props to the moon 啊，来这边打别的项目方的广告就很菜了啊，没关系，我们继续截啊，我看一下这个啊。
We can always answer some questions from the community if there are some.
No, we have still questions.
Yeah. We have more questions coming. I'm trying to do a screenshot for the word drawing. 我现在看到里面大家打的都是错的，因为你们打的是 props， 是另外一个项目，你们被带节奏了，那我也没办法抽你们中奖，好吧？然后呢，这个我看一下啊，我最后再给这个30好了，要打的是 text to the moon， 不是 props to the moon 啊。好的，我这边截完图了，我看一下。这样吧，等会儿那个我最后会把这个中奖清单呢，那个发到那个通知大家，然后我会念出来，然后让你们去联系去快律动去领奖。那么我们为了时间上啊，我们先进行这个第2轮的一个提问。So let's start with the next round of questions. All right. So number 6, Kira's IXP has the potential to become the Uniswap in the multi-chain world. Can you please share with us the advantages of the IXP?
Yeah, so I'll just talk about what IXP exactly is, and then I'll talk about the advantages. So IXP is an interchain exchange protocol. So we've creating an IXP, which will be the first decentralized application that will be running on Kira network. It will be used for hosting decentralized financial applications and generate network activity using liquid assets. So users can stake and trade directly on IXP. So that's basically will showcase how other applications can also host and deploy on Kira and benefit from our network. So IXP is basically a sharded blockchain application. You can treat it as cross-chain Uniswap, where individual assets and individual sets of order books are being executed, but in parallel between different dedicated trading zones, which you can call them parallel chains. So those parallel chains are secured by the main relay chain, which is called Kira Hub. That's where users deposit and stake their assets. And all the assets that are deposited and staked, they become tradable and transferable right away, thanks to staking derivative that we're hosting natively. So IXP will also be accessible over the IBC protocol or XMP protocol. So meaning that other projects will also be able to use it in their application stack. IXP will also demonstrate how blockchain applications can stay legally compliant. For example, the validators will have an option to choose whether or not they want to execute a certain application, such as facilitating the trading, and therefore they can stay legally compliant within their own individual jurisdictions. So furthermore, through the use of decentralized ID services, validators of specific trading zones, parallel chains, such as STO trading zones, for example, will have ability to accept transactions originating only from KYC accounts and without the need for users to reveal their identity. So, unlike in Ethereum 2.0, where all the validators are forced to execute any type of logics that is deployed on chain, and that's not exactly staying legally compliant. So, just to give a brief recap, the main advantages of XRP are one, ability to parallelize exchange operations through sharding of the blockchain applications, meaning that multiple order books and AMMs can process transactions at the same time. Two, trustless market access, meaning people can list any asset in a censorship-resistant manner without any delays, without any downtime, or any single party controlling which tokens can be trading and which cannot, while at the same time allowing all network operators to stay legally compliant by utilizing the ID and allowing them to choose whether or not they want to be part of any specific trading zone in order to stay legally compliant. And three, programmatic access, which enables other blockchain applications to interact with IXP through protocols like IBC or XMP, meaning that many networks can benefit and use IXP without the need for any interaction with the user interface. And this basically allows Kira to become part of the other network blockchain application stack, which can obviously benefit, their networks, but it will also benefit Kira as well.
Got it. Okay, Matt, do you have anything to add?
I mean, I think it's pretty accurate, as far as XCMP goes. It's just a very first blockchain application that we deploy. It's just a showcase what you can do. And where the network will take that further, whether it's maybe a multi-collateralized stablecoin using, asset stake, or whether it's some other application, that's to come for the future. This is part of this is first kind of application that will be used to induce the network activity, right? So once people have their staked assets on their accounts, right, usually you won't be able to do anything with them. And here you have this ability to instantly trade. It means you are no longer exposed to market volatility. And you also don't have to unstake your assets, right? When the market moves. If the market moves down or market moves up, right? Instead of undelegating, waiting three weeks or whatever, right? You can trade, right? You can trade your staked Bitcoin for staked fiat or vice versa, right? So that you can manage your assets while they're secure the network. So this is short overview on my side.
I'm gonna go back to the price drawing announcement a little bit. Hold on a second. 那个大家 我这边道个歉，因为刚刚的话，我是用这个直播间，然后我一直往下滑，看到之前的直播。那个现在来公布一下刚刚抽奖中奖的用户，然后你们去联系一下。然后呢，现在我看一下我这截图的啊，第一个中奖的用户是 Dinner 风，然后呢，这个头像是一个名侦探柯南啊，就是主要是喜欢柯南，所以请这位这个幸运的用户 Dinner 风去联系，恭喜中奖。第二位用户是Kex is the next ETH， 主要是名字好Kex is the next ETH， 这位用户也麻烦联系一下官方，然后恭喜中奖。第三位是彩虹和你都很美彩虹和你都很美，恭喜这位用户，然后也麻烦去这个联系一下官方。然后第四位是叫做啦啦啦 LALALA 啦啦啦，好，恭喜中奖，麻烦一下联系官方。然后最后一位是顺其自然，是一位是顺其自然，然后这个恭喜中奖，也辛苦联系官方。好，那我们就这几位小伙伴就是非常幸运，然后就拿好价值币啊，别随便乱买 ，Cax 明年得飞的。好，那个我们就继续下一个问题。Okay, so let's continue. Our next question is that how is Cax Kira's token economy model designed? What are the roles and utilities of the CAC for the holders?
Okay. So the role of the CAX, the native token, is to act like a reserve currency in terms of which staking and transaction fees, payments, and other assets is valued. So CAX can be used as the most optimal transaction fee payment mechanism, which is essential to prevent transactional spam. And holding CAX is also one of the requirements to become part of the validator and governance set and to take part of the decision-making processes, such as defining inflation rate of CAX and interest rate for staking any of the whitelisted assets, by the governance. So depending on your future decisions, such as the governance member, CAX can have both inflationary as well as deflationary issuance mechanism. So by steering all levels of the Kira's economy, you can optimize yield of all stakeholders and become part of the Kira's network success. And of course, staking CAX, brings you way more, profitable fees than staking any other assets that we have.
Got it. Perfect. So another few more questions. So I'm going to push a little forward. So Kira phase 0 testnet was touched.
Yeah.
Right. Congratulations. And would you like to share with us more information about the testnet?
So the phase 0, like the full coverage of the phase 0, we released on our blog.kira.network recently on Medium. So what participants will be testing is compatibility initially across different operating systems, and then only then they will transition into interacting with the blockchain application. We'll get input from that. We'll apply whatever input we get from the community, and that will allow us to launch phase 1, which is going to be the public testnet. The public testnet is when people will actually interconnect with their nodes with one another and start producing blocks together. We'll kick off the governance, we'll kick off the maybe war uptime game for them. So a form of incentivization, and we'll try to, as much as possible, to break the network. And at some point, when people can no longer kind of break the network, then we will transition fully into the mainnet.
Got it. So phase 1 and the mainnet, coming all next month, right? Okay. So another next question: do you have plans for the mainnet launching? How will the mainnet different from the testnet? What are its features?
Yeah, so of course, like all the features that will be tested on the testnet will be part of the mine. Right? You cannot test something different in your launch, right? So of course, those are going to be the same releases. Of course, it's the final release of the testnet. It's going to be the first release of the mainnet, and the mainnet launch is going to be very similar to Polkadot. So we are starting with POA and governance module, and from there we add more until the network is fully self-sustainable, and that's what we can call a kind of full network launch. So there will be multiple stages, and we'll be adding features, and I think we'll call it testnet phase 2, which will be running in parallel to the mainnet. So every time we want to do an upgrade, we first run it through the testnet, and then we apply the upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Step by step. Okay.
Testnets are not going to end. Maybe we'll launch something like Kusama, right? For Kira, we'll see, right? Might be a good idea.
Sure.
Too.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do more options. Kidding. And then next questions. So, what kinds of partnerships has Kira Network achieved? What are your future layouts?
We have partnered with various projects like Orion, Manchudao, Math Wallet, Swingbee, and a few others. You can actually check, all of them on our website under Kira.network under the partners section. And then, for the future, like once the public testnet is done and once we start transitioning to the mainnet, we're looking for wallets and explorers, DAOs that can hold the token, manage their funds and make money through staking with Kira, for example, as well as obviously asset issuers that issue asset directly on Kira, or they can be interconnected with Kira so that their stable coins can be staked. And, we're also launching the cross-chain ecosystem alliance, which will be led by us, where Kira and other projects working together will be able to enable inclusive interconnections between peer-to-peer applications and the networks that are not dependent on the master chain solutions and not censorable, as well as available at no extra cost. So the reasons why other projects would join our alliance is because they want to be interconnected with us and each other at no extra cost. So instead of us partnering with each of them separately, we decided to create this cross-chain alliance. And there's no need to implement standard for each of them. We can just create one standard for all, so everyone can just partner with us. So interconnecting with other projects would give them access to the larger user base and capital, and other applications can be used as part of their own development stack. So yeah, basically everyone who joins this alliance will benefit from each other, from interconnecting.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Okay, that explains why it's a hub, right? We're gonna be the airport of the world where everybody ships their people and just live in our country forever, like the assets staked and never leave, yeah. Right? Okay, perfect. So, given the time, time really went by really quick. So we're gonna go into the second round of drawing. 好，那么这个我们提问环节已经结束了。然后我们感谢这个2位嘉宾的参与以及大家的一个各位观众的一个关注。那么接下来呢就是第2轮抽奖啊。那简单粗暴，我们这个抽奖之前，我们先请这2位嘉宾先跟大家说声再见吧。So before the start of the second round of drawing, can you guys say goodbye to the audience and any last words?
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you for, being here today and, trying to learn more about what Kira does. And, we always really appreciate our community and our supporters, and especially people who are, interested in learning more and, have a long-term vision and believe in us. So, I wanted to, share my gratitude towards that. And of course, if you want to stay up to date with the latest news, on Kira, you can follow our official WeChat account as well as our Twitter.
Okay, so final thoughts from me. are that like crypto is extremely fast, right? And if you are not catching up, you are not going to do well. And there's something that's even faster, and that's DeFi, right? The DeFi speed is 10 times the crypto speed. So we'll see a clear transition, right? From Ethereum, which is going very, very slow, to Web3, to interchain, and I strongly believe that this ecosystem is going to do very, very, very well, because the paradigms of development completely change with assembly and all the networks that support it will at some point, even if it's not now, they will accelerate beyond other networks using very legacy solutions like Solidity. They will never be able to catch up to that. So ending with that thought, like, thank you everyone for joining the call, and thank you for the cool questions, and I guess see you soon.
Perfect. I'll do a little translation.
And thank you, Wayne, for hosting this and other.
Of course. Stay here for the price drop. Wait. 这个简单来说呢，就是 Kira 他也有公众号，然后呢，强烈推荐大家也去关注一下他们在这个中国的社区做的努力，还有对于内容的质量的一个要求都是相当的高，然后强烈推荐去学习一下，因为 Kira 在明年的话，它其实是属于包含这个跨链波卡以及 NFT， 还有它其他的一些未公开的计划，在主网上了以后，都会有非常，我个人认为会比较好的表现。那我们也是因此在稍早的时候投资了这个 Kira Network， 并且我个人是这个 Kira 的顾问，强烈推荐大家去关注一下。这边就稍微奶这么一点点啊。好，那废话不多说，我们进入第二轮的一个抽奖啊。那这个跟规则一样。每个人60个 cap 啊，每人只能有1次奖励。好，那我们就开始发。Text to the moon 啊。好，有一位了啊。手快的先吃饭，Text to the moon 啊，不要一发。然后这个大家公众号的话就是 Kira Official， 大家可以看一下这个区块律动，都有分享过挺多关于 Kira 的一些文章，可以去关注一下区块律动所发的一些内容，然后里面可以去找到 Kira 的公众号。好，第二位，好，197654321位。好，第4位，198765431。第5位抽完了。给大家说一下中奖的人啊，这个，所以说，首先呢是这个叫做红平啊，这个洪水的洪，频率的频，红平，恭喜这位用户中奖。第2位是安心的安，石头的石，恭喜中奖。然后第3位是 Mia MIA， Mia， 恭喜中奖。第4位是林文博，恭喜中奖。最后一位啊，最后一位叫做易清晨，这个易清晨的晨啊，恭喜最后一位用户中奖。好，希望你们这个我就所有截图的啊，不开心的不要找我，找区块律动。然后恭喜大家中奖，然后这个最后就简单结尾一下公众号呢，大家可以去看一看。然后 Kira 在明年呢也会有相对比较多的一些表现。在下个月的时候，他们的这个测试网的一个在 Phase 0之后的 Phase 1，还有甚至 Phase 2，还有这个主网都会有上线。当然在 其他方面会有比较好的表现，我就不能说太多了。那么今天最后一次，感谢各位今天来花时间在晚上去参与这一个区块律动的一个 Next 的一个栏目。那么今天就到这边告一段落了。那谢谢大家的参与，那我们下次再见。Okay, thank you everybody, thank you. All right, ends here. 好，那
What's
我们
next
这
on
边
the
就
agenda?
What's happening?
We end here. Let's get back to work. All right.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
we were
no,
waiting something to happen.
Yeah, I was like
No.
something is happening.
Uh,
All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, thank you guys. Bye bye.